Jace Harrington wiped grease from his hands. The repair job on the station's secondary oxygen recycler finally complete. 18 hours of work had left him exhausted, sweaty, and desperate for a shower. Space Station Epsilon 9 wasn't known for its luxuries, but it did have decent water pressure in the communal bathrooms, a small mercy for a station engineer who spent his days crawling through maintenance tunnels. The corridor to his quarters was unusually quiet. The night cycle had begun. Most of the station's 5,000 inhabitants already tucked away in their cramped living pods. Jace's footsteps echoed against metal flooring as he approached his shared bathroom, towel slung over his shoulder, hair matted with sweat and mechanical lubricant. Strange. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, and an otherworldly blue light spilled from the crack. Mist, not steam, but something thicker and faintly luminescent seeped from beneath. Jace hesitated, then knocked. "Hello? Someone in there?" No answer. He knocked again. Louder silence. "Station maintenance," he called out, the lie coming easily. "Need to check a reported leak?" When no response came, Jace pushed the door open and froze. Standing in the center of his shower stall was the most beautiful being he'd ever seen. Her skin shimmered like polished obsidian with patterns of starlight moving beneath the surface. Hair like liquid platinum cascaded down her back, floating as if underwater despite the apparent lack of gravity around just her form. Most striking were her eyes, arms large, almond-shaped, with irises that shifted between deep violet and electric blue. She was completely naked, surrounded by the strange mist which seemed to emanate from her skin. "You dare interrupt the cleansing?" Her voice resonated oddly, as if coming from everywhere at once. Jace stumbled backward. I'm sorry." The door was open, and I silenced. She raised a hand, and Jace felt pressure against his chest, pinning him to the wall. "You have witnessed the Vesperian purification ritual. No outsider has seen this in 7 centuries. Look, I just wanted a shower," Jace managed, struggling to breathe. "I didn't know someone was in here." The alien woman tilted her head, studying him with those mesmerizing eyes. "You entered without permission, yet you show no fear." A pause. "Interesting." The pressure against his chest eased slightly. "I'm Jace," he offered, trying to sound calmer than he felt. "Engineer, level 3. This is my assigned bathroom. I am Navara, 7th daughter of the Vesperian Hive Queen." She lowered her hand. "And you have now become part of something ancient." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed in the corridor. Navara's expression shifted from regal indignation to something close to fear. "They found me. Who's found you? The hunters? They track me across systems?" She moved toward him with unnatural grace. "You must help me. By witnessing the ritual, our fates are now entwined." Heavy footsteps pounded down the corridor, accompanied by the unmistakable sound of energy weapons charging. "Please," Navara whispered, her imperious demeanor cracking. "I was hiding. This shower, I thought it was a sacred chamber." The mist confused their sensors. Jace made a split-second decision that would forever alter his life. He grabbed her. Hand it felt like touching warm silk hand, pulled her toward the maintenance access panel behind the towel rack. "This way," he said, popping the panel open. "I know this station better than anyone." As they slipped into the darkness of the maintenance tunnel, the bathroom door burst open behind them. Jace heard guttural voices speaking in alien language. He didn't recognize "What have I gotten myself into?" he muttered. Navara's eyes glowed in the darkness. "Something wonderful and terrible, Jace. Of Epsilonine, you have become bonded to a fugitive princess." The maintenance tunnels of Epsilon 9 were a labyrinth of pipes, wires, and cramped passages uncomfortable for most. But a second home to Jace, he navigated confidently, leading Navara through the narrow spaces while alarm klaxons continued to wail throughout the station. "We need to get you some clothes," Jace whispered, trying not to notice how her luminescent skin lit the tunnel in a soft blue glow. "You're a bit conspicuous. My physical form discomforts you?" Navara asked, her voice echoing strangely in the confined space. "No, I mean... Yes, I mean... ... Jace sighed. Look, humans don't typically walk around naked, especially not glowing ones. Navarra made a gesture with her hands, and the mist surrounding her body condensed, forming a simple silver bodysuit that clung to her curves. Better, she asked. J.S. stared. How did you never mind? We need to keep moving. They reached a junction where 4 tunnels met, and Jace paused, listening. The distant sound of heavy boots and metallic clicks echoed from the passage to their left. The hunters used thermal tracking, Navarra whispered. My body temperature fluctuates beyond your human range. They'll find me soon. Jace thought quickly. The coolant chambers? We can mask your signature there. They descended 3 levels via a maintenance ladder, emerging into a vast chamber filled with massive cooling units that regulated the station's temperature. Their breath formed clouds in the frigid air. So, Jace said as they settled behind. A bank of humming machinery. Want to tell me why alien hunters are tearing apart my station looking for you? Navarra's eyes dimmed slightly. I am what you might call a princess. The 7th daughter, chosen to be sacrificed in a unity ritual with the Krovax Dominion. Sacrificed. Jace's eyebrows shot up. My consciousness would be extracted and merged. With their supreme intelligence? Her voice was flat, emotionless. My body would become a vessel for their collective will. It is considered an honor. That sounds horrible. It is our way. Navarra paused. Or it was, until I refused. Jace shook his head. You're a runaway bride, and I just happened to walk in on you hiding in my shower.
I'm simply hiding.
Navarra corrected. The purification ritual cleanses royal blood before a bonding. By interrupting it, you've created a problem, perhaps a solution. What kind of solution? Among my people, if an outsider witnesses the ritual and survives the encounter, they become Shelver-bonded protector. Her eyes searched his. Oh, it is an ancient law, rarely invoked, but still binding. The hunters cannot take me if I'm claimed by another. Jace ran a hand through his hair. So I accidentally married you by walking in on your shower. Not married, Navarra said. The bond is deeper than your human concept. We are now connected on a cellular level. As if to demonstrate, she took his hand. Where their skin touched, a warm sensation spread up Jace's arm. And he watched in amazement as faint patterns of light similar to those beneath Navarra's skin briefly appeared on his own. That's impossible, he whispered. Your species has much to learn about the universe, Navarra replied with something close to affection. The moment was interrupted by a deep, rumbling voice over the station's communication system. Attention humans of Epsilonine. We seek a fugitive Vesperian. Royal. Harboring this criminal is an act of war against the Krovax Dominion. Surrender her immediately. Jace looked at Navarra, saw the fear behind her regal bearing. I have a friend, he said finally. She captains a supply ship that docks here weekly. If we can reach her before these hunters find us, we might have a chance. Navarra's eyes brightened. You would risk yourself for me? Jace stood, offering his hand to help her up. Apparently we're bonded on a cellular level. Might as well see where this goes. For the first time, Navarra smiled and it transformed her. Alien features into something breathtakingly beautiful. Lead the way, my Shalvar. Captain Octavia Durand was not amused. You want me to smuggle an alien princess off station while it's being searched by what sound like very angry hunters? She crossed her arms, leaning against the cargo bay wall of her ship, the Wayward Venture. Have you lost your mind, Jace? Probably, Jace admitted. But they'll kill her, Octavia. They had reached the docking bay through a series of increasingly narrow maintenance shafts, evading station security and alien hunters alike. Navarra stood, slightly behind Jace, her alien presence commanding despite her attempt to appear inconspicuous. Octavia sighed, studying Navarra. This bond thing, it's real? As real as the stars, Navarra confirmed. I can demonstrate no need, Octavia raised a hand. I've seen enough weird stuff in the outer systems to know better than to doubt. She turned to Jace. You realize this is goodbye, right? Once you leave with her, you can never come back to Epsilon 9. The reality of the situation hit Jace like a physical blow. Everything he knew, his job, his quarters, the few friends he'd made, he would have to leave it all behind. I know, he said quietly. Octavia's expression softened. You were never meant for station life anyway, Jace. Too much spark in you. She checked her wrist display. We launch in 20 minutes. Get comfortable in cargo hold B. It's not pretty, but it's scanner shielded. 30 minutes later, the wayward venture detached from Epsilon 9, cleared station control with a routine cargo manifest, and jumped to light speed, leaving the station and its hunters behind. For 3 days, traveled through the void between systems. Jace and Navarra shared the small cargo hold, furnished only with emergency supplies and makeshift bedding. In that confined space, they began to truly know one another. "Tell me about your world," Jace said one night, as they lay side by side, watching distant stars through a small viewport. Navarra's eyes dimmed with memory. Vesper Prime orbits a binary star. The landscape changes color with each star's ascendancy. Air-sendencing deserts at first light, violet forests at second dawn.
Oh.
Her voice grew wistful. The royal hives are built into crystal mountains that sing when the solar winds pass through them. It sounds beautiful. It was my prison, she said simply. Beautiful, but still a cage. I was born to be sacrificed, raised to believe it was my highest purpose. She turned to face him. What of your world, Jace? He laughed softly. I barely remember it. My parents were terraformers. We left when I was 5. I grew up on ships and stations, moving wherever the work took us. You have no home? Navarra seemed troubled by this. Home, as Jace struggled to define it. Home is where you make it, I guess. They fell silent, the ship's gentle humming, filling the space between words. Jace became acutely aware of how close they were, of the faint glow emanating from Navarra's skin, of the strange connection that seemed to strengthen between them with each passing hour. The bond, he said finally. What does it really mean? Navarra's hand found his in the dim light. Where they touched, that now familiar warmth spread, the luminescent patterns appearing on his skin. It means our life forces recognize each other, she explained. Among my people, such bonds were once sacred, formed by choice, not arrangement. The ritual you interrupted was meant to cleanse me of the ability to form such bonds, to prepare me for the sacrifice. So I saved you. You did. Her fingers intertwined with his. But the bond is incomplete. To fully claim protection under Vesperian law, we must complete the joining. Jace swallowed hard. And what does that involve? Navarra moved closer, her luminescence intensifying. Merging of energies. Physical. Spiritual. Her eyes searched his. Intimate. The air between them seemed to charge with electricity. Jace felt drawn to her, not just physically, but in some deeper, inexplicable way, as if his very atoms recognized hers. Is that what you want? He asked softly. What I want, Navarra whispered, her face now inches from his. I have never been asked what I want before. Their lips met, and the world exploded into light. The light that enveloped them during their joining had been visible from space, a beacon that drew both friend and foe alike. Octavia burst into the cargo hold, weapon drawn. What the hell was that? It just lit up every scanner within 3 systems. Jace and Navarra disentangled, the glow slowly fading from their intertwined forms. The changes were immediately apparent, patterns of starlight now permanently etched beneath Jace's skin. And Navarra's eyes had taken on a hint of human. Green, the joining is complete, Navarra said, her voice resonating with new power. We are fully bonded. Well, your bonding just painted a target on my ship. Octavia holstered her weapon. 3 vessels just changed course to intercept us. One of them matches Vesperian royal signatures. Jace stood, surprised by the newfound strength flowing. Through his body, we need to face them. Running forever isn't an option. Face them. Octavia stared. Have you seen what their weapons can do? He is right, Navarra said, rising gracefully. The bond gives us standing. We must claim it before the Vesperian High Council and the Krovax Dominion. Hours later, the wayward venture was surrounded by 3 massive ships, a Vesperian Royal, cruiser, a Krovax war vessel, and, surprisingly, a United Earth Alliance diplomatic ship. Apparently, your little light show got everyone's attention, Octavia muttered as they prepared to board the Earth Alliance vessel for the impromptu summit. Even your species decided to get involved, Jace. The diplomatic chamber was tense. collection of species? The Vesperian stall. Luminescent beings similar to Navarus stood in formation around an elderly female whose skin held the patterns of entire galaxies. The Krovax representatives were hulking, armored creatures with multiple eyes and mandibles that clicked continuously in apparent agitation. Earth's ambassador, Hendrix, seasoned diplomat in her 60s, greeted Jace with surprise. Said a human had bonded with the seventh daughter. I didn't expect a station engineer. Neither did I, Jace admitted. The Vesperian queen approached, her ancient eyes examining both Jace and Navarra with cold calculation. Daughter, you have defied your purpose. Navarra stood tall. I have claimed my right to choose, Mother Queen. The ancient laws permit it. The bond appears genuine, the queen conceded, touching Jace's face with cool fingers. But the treaty, with the Krovax, is invalidated. A Krovax representative stepped forward, mandibles flaring. The seventh daughter was promised to our supreme intelligence. This human has stolen what is ours. I was never yours to claim. Navarra's voice rang through the chamber. Now I am bound to another bylaws older than our treaty. Ambassador. Hendrix cleared her throat, if I may. Under intergalactic law, sentient beings cannot be treated as property. If Princess Navarra has chosen to bond with a human citizen, Earth recognizes and supports this union. The Krovax commander hissed. Then Earth chooses war. Jace spoke for the first time, surprising himself with the authority in his voice. No one chooses war today. He stepped forward, the patterns beneath his skin glowing brighter. The bond between Navarra and me is real. It cannot be broken without destroying us both. Would you risk interstellar war over a failed arrangement when alliances could be built instead? The chamber fell silent. What alliance do you propose, human? The Vesperian queen asked finally. Jace looked at Navarra, who nodded encouragingly. A new treaty. Between Earth, Vesper Prime, and the Krovax Dominion. Not based on sacrifice, but on mutual respect and cooperation. Ambassador Hendrix smiled slightly. Bold proposal from a station engineer. I'm apparently more than that now. Jace replied, feeling the power of the bond flowing through him. The negotiations lasted hours. But when they concluded, a framework for peace had been established. The Krovax agreed to withdraw their claim on Navarra in exchange for trade rights with Earth. The Vesperians recognized the bond between Navarra and Jace as legitimate and with it. Their claim to royal standing, as they prepared to leave the diplomatic vessel, the Vesperian queen approached Navarra one last time. You have chosen a difficult path, daughter. I have chosen my path, Navarra replied. That makes all the difference. 1 year later, Jace stood on the crystal balcony of the 7th tower on Vesper Prime. Watching the double sunset paint the landscape in shades of amber and violet, the singing mountains hummed a low melody as solar winds passed through their crystalline structures. Still not used to it, Navarra asked, joining him at the railing. Her formal robes shimmered with embedded starlight, matching the patterns that now permanently marked Jace's skin. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, he admitted. Yesterday, I was calibrating environmental systems on a space station. Today, I'm helping govern an alien civilization. Navarra laughed, the sound like chimes in the wind. You do more than that. The human embassy you established has brought trade that enriches both our worlds. The cultural exchange programs are oversubscribed. Even the Krovax have sent representatives to learn. It was true. In the months since their bonding, Jace had worked tirelessly to build bridges between humans and Vesperians. His unique position, part human, part something else, now made him an ideal ambassador. The coalition representatives arrive tomorrow, Navarra reminded him. 5 species coming together to discuss expansion of the alliance. Jace nodded, suddenly pensive. Do you ever regret it? The bond, I mean? You could have been free gone. Anywhere. Done anything. Navarra took his hand, the familiar warmth spreading between them. I am free. I chose this. Chose you. She gestured toward the sprawling landscape below. Together, we're creating something new. Not just for us, but for both our peoples. A soft chime sounded from within their chambers. That would be Octavia. Jace smiled. probably complaining about Vesperian docking procedures again. Captain Durand had become their most trusted courier, ferrying messages and materials between Earth and Vesper Prime. Her initial reluctance had given way to fascination with the alien world and a hefty exclusivity contract for her shipping services. "Before we go in," Navarra said, her expression growing serious, "there's something I need to tell you." Jace felt a flutter of concern through their bond. "What is it?" Navarra placed his hand on her abdomen. Through their connection, he felt it immediately, a new presence, tiny but unmistakable. A third consciousness, formed from their joined energies. "Is that?" he whispered, unable to complete the thought. "Yes." Navarra's eyes shimmered with emotion. The first of its kind, part human, part Vesperian. But the scientists said it was. "Impossible," they said. "Many things were impossible," she reminded him, "including our bond." Jace pulled her close, overwhelmed by emotion. Through their connection, he could feel her joy, her nervousness, her love, all mirroring his own feelings. "A child," he whispered against her hair. "Our child will belong to both worlds." As the final light of the binary stars slipped below the horizon, they stood together on the crystal balcony, the impossible made real between them. The maintenance tunnels of Epsilon 9 seemed a lifetime away now. Though it had been only a year since Jace had opened that bathroom door and found an alien princess in his shower. Some might call it fate. Others might call it cosmic coincidence. But as Jace held Navarra in the gathering twilight of an alien world, he knew the truth. Sometimes the universe brings together exactly what is needed, exactly when it is needed. And sometimes a simple desire for a shower can change the course of two civilizations forever.